Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. So I just wanted to jump on here and talk about the Chris Paul situation that has been making waves for a few days now in regards to the Clippers pretty much dismissing him. It's very weird how everything played out. I know that there's a lot of drama behind the scenes of locker room talk and coach issues and players being held accountable but not wanting to be. So there's just a lot of chaos and mayhem over there in the Clippers franchise. And it's very interesting because when I was playing 2K, I was trying to figure out for the life of me, why do the Clippers suck so bad? Considering if you think of their roster, you wouldn't imagine them sucking so bad. You know what I mean? They have Bradley Beal, which obviously I don't think he's playing. I think he had an injury that now it's like he's done for the season. I mean, you have Kawhi Leonard, I think is still one of the greatest players, but I don't know, he hasn't really been acting like it or showing it. I don't know what's going on over there in the Clippers. Then you have James Harden, which he's been pretty much the only consistent one on the team. But to be, I think, 6 wins in is kind of crazy to me. I think they're 14th in the West, which is like, now don't get me wrong, I know a lot of the West teams tend to be better than, I say, the East Coast teams. But if you're down there at the bottom, I mean, with like the Wizards and like Brooklyn and like Sacramento and like, you know what I mean? You're like, I just wouldn't imagine a team that has all these players with, you know, names and champions and things like that, that it wouldn't be a complete shit show. It is a shit show. So they pretty much sent Chris Paul home. So he was supposed to play the Atlanta Hawks. He was pretty much told, hey, we don't need you. You could just go back home to LA, which is honestly really, 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 really crazy because it's not that serious. Your team has been bad forever. Like, your team has been bad for a very long time. And it's like Chris Paul, yeah, he may be, I think more news is coming out that he was just more of a locker room menace. Like, he was just annoying or had too many things to say. I think he was, you know, at odds with the coach. So it's just a mess over there. But the biggest thing for me is that, you know, he could have just let him stay and play in Atlanta. You know, you were probably going to lose. You know that the season is pretty much toast. You know that there is no team morale. There is no bonding. At this point, people are just pretty much colleagues. They're just playing basketball because they have contracts and they're making buku dollars and they just have to continue to hit the court and deal with these people. They're pretty much colleagues at this point. So it's just crazy to me that it's even gotten to this point. And it's just crazy to me that after all of this, over the course of like the summer, him wanting to come back to LA after he played there, I think 5 seasons. He was there for a while. Chris Paul was there for years. I think he brought them to the playoffs a few times, at least between 2012 and I think 2016, 2017. They were in the playoffs, and that's when they had Blake Griffin, and it was just a lot of just buzz around the team, especially after, you know, nobody really likes the Clippers, so it'll be like nobody cares about the Clippers, but like at that time it was just so much excitement built around it. And you know, they were at least winning basketball games and at least having celebrities, you know, not hide that they're Clippers fan and actually support the Clippers. And I remember all of that, like people sitting front row, people were excited, and people were like, oh, okay, is this like the turn of a really bad team and things like that. So just to fast forward now, you know that he wanted to play his last season in LA pretty much. You guys sign him for that 1 year, knowing that he was going to come off the bench, knowing that he's not the player that he used to be. I mean, he's been in the league for, what is this, his 21st season, I think? So he's been in the league for decades at this point, you know, right there next to LeBron pretty much. So it's like, I don't understand how you could just let him go in the fashion that you let him go. And you know, in this day and age of social media and how fast news flies, that this was going to erupt, and it just didn't even matter. And it's just like, you do that to a legend in his last year? Like, you knew he was his last year. He barely plays any minutes. I think the most minutes he plays is what, like 8 minutes a game. You know, he's not really averaging too many buckets or assists. Like, he's quite literally just riding it off into the sunset. And he thought, no, you know what? You know, let me go to LA. And bad idea to go to LA. bad idea to go to LA because LA was already a mess before you got there. And I think you as in Chris Paul, showing up there trying to have your presence felt, knowing damn well you're not about to be there any longer anyway. It's just a complete mess. So that's the only thing I have to say about it. I just can't believe that we took a legend, a superstar, someone that is like loaded with accolades. I mean, 12-time All-Star, 11-time All-NBA selection, 9-time All-Defense selection, NBA Finals appearance. Like, I could quite literally read off my notes here. You know, Rookie of the Year, 6 all-time assists. Like, you know, it's just, I just think it was all the way wrong to do that. And especially if you're the Clippers, you're pretty much like the giants of the NBA. I just feel like maybe you should have went about it in a way that did not cause so much negative publicity, negative reaction, have people really upset. And I mean, even if you're not a Chris Paul fan, it's not really about you liking him or not. It's not about, oh, allegations of him possibly canoodling with players' women and all this other stuff that's kind of coming out about his personal life. Like, I'm just trying to keep it solely based on basketball and what this guy has done for basketball. And he may not have won a chip, right? He's not a champion, but there's no denying what he's done for the game of basketball, especially for the point guard position, which is quite literally evolving now. It's not quite the same game that it used to be when Chris Paul was playing, you know what I mean? But talk about a legend, talk about an all-star, talk about a cool guy, you know what I mean? I haven't really seen anything other than him being a cool guy. I mean, people are coming out with a whole bunch of different things about him, but I've always liked CP3. I thought his sneakers was cool. So, like, I don't know. I just feel like it could have been handled way better than that. And for one of the players that I kind of grew up watching play basketball, it's really crazy how this is his exit. And it's not like he's getting off the team, you know what I mean? He still has his contract, you guys still have to pay him. So it's just like, what was the point of all of this, you know? I guess it was just it just came to a point where people were just too frustrated to even hide it anymore. Maybe it was a conversation or a discussion in the locker room that went left. Like, okay, so their coach Tyronn Lue, I know he was kind of butting heads with him, but like, this is just not right. And I think that that seems to be the overall consensus, that this was quite disrespectful and just messed up to do to somebody of anybody. If you work for any company, this is messed up to do, but of his caliber, what he's done for basketball, especially in his last year, especially like knowing he doesn't really play like that anymore. It's just crazy. It's just crazy to send his ass home. But I guess there's more to the story, and I'm sure things are starting to, slowly but surely come out since this news broke almost a week ago now, days ago. So I guess we'll stay in the know. I'll probably come back on here and talk a little bit more when more details come out. But I'm honestly shocked, because I literally was just asking myself, why do the Clippers stink so bad? And I'm over there trying to defend Kawhi, and I'm over here having conversations about it, and I'm over here like, oh, no, he's still good, he's not broken, he's not like Paul George or like, Bradley Beal or like, other players that haven't really been productive. But just crazy. It was just wild. I just remember all of this in summertime, and I'm like, oh wow, they made such a big deal about it. I'm like, ooh, Clippers, interesting choice, but I understand the backstory, the lore. Ooh, who would have thought it would have went like this? It's just insane to me. But like I said, an all-star was told to go bye-bye. Pretty much, I think it was in the night, in the middle of the night, to just go back to LA. Has that even happened to another player of his like caliber? I mean, I shouldn't say of his caliber, but you know what I mean? Like, has that even happened like that? Is that right? It's not right. And look, the Clippers were shitty well before Chris Paul. They've had their issues, which I think I'm gonna do a deep dive next on the reason why the Clippers are as horrendous as they are. They have no shot in hell to make it to the finals. They got no shot at all. I just think that the whole culture around that team has dwindled so badly, and they're in like such a they're just in a poor state. And honestly, Chris Paul going over there was really risky biz, but he did it for the reasons why I think anybody would do it before, you go to retire. You want to at least go back to a team or, you know, knows about you and knows the impact that you've had. So it's really no slack on him for choosing the Clippers, but like, ooh, wow, what a awful choice. But I guess I'll just have to see how this is about to all play out, all this tea and stuff. It's wild to me. But anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments. I will do a deep dive on the Clippers team because I just feel so confused, and like I really want to explore this. So that'll be one of my next videos. It'll be deep diving about the Clippers. But anyway, let me know what you guys think on this. I know a lot of people feel that this was really messed up, but hey, if you guys know more about the tea, you could drop it in the comments. I've really been trying to stay out of it a little bit, but you know, it's hard not to when, if you're a basketball fan, just crazy, but you know, or just a sports fan in general. But anyway, let me know how you guys feel in the comments, and I will see you in another video.